States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, it looks.
Roll call?
Yeah, our signature right here.
Okay, cool. And then approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Everybody has a minute to look those over. I looked them over beforehand, so. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, any second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Let me circulate those for signature then, please.
Okay, yeah. And then after this, we'll go approval of claims for, is that right?
Right.
Okay, while that's going around, approval of claims for Hickam and Lorenz. Richard, do you want to talk through those?
Yeah, we have, it appears there are three invoices, numbers 13405, 13411, and 13466
Okay.
that are outstanding at the present time.
Can I motion to approve things? Okay, I'll motion to approve the claims for Hickam and Lorenz.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. So do we need to sign something for that as well?
No, that's,
Okay.
it's, the minutes will reflect the vote.
Okay, and then we'll go ahead to new business, the preliminary and final plat for 40 West Clay Street, Village Woods.
If I can remind you, let me have that first page there again. Just reading from the minutes and all, the last time we were in session, we explained that the applicant had presented a preliminary plat at the previous minute, which was seeking a horizontal split of the property located at the physical address of 177 South Main Street and 182 South Main Street. The application fee had been paid, notice to adjacent landowners had been made, and publication in the newspaper was done. The applicant's documentation included the mapping of the first floor of the building, which was to continue its commercial use and a continued use of the second and third floor as multi-family residential use. The entire complex was to be operated under the authority of the Epidemist Homeowners Association, Inc., and under the declaration of the horizontal property regime, a copy of which was attached to the application. And I think at that time I explained that this was the first three-dimensional split that the town had experienced and was based upon the authority of the Indiana Horizontal Property Act. Essentially, the homeowners association would be the managers of the real estate and would be the authority to enforce the covenants and restrictions of the association and manage the maintenance and common areas associated with the facility. The infrastructure, sewer, water, physical size of the facility would remain the same as is currently in place. There are no variances required or needed. The Planning Commission would not have any say in the responsibility for the enforcement or maintenance of the facility, as those rights are reserved to the homeowners association. The declaration appeared to be in proper form and create two separate units, one commercial, one multifamily residential. The commercial facility was to be expanded on the first floor with separate access, and the apartment complexes of the second and third floor were to be remodeled. And on motion made that they were approved at that time, you would now be making a motion for the final approval. I have the Mylar plat, and we would need authority for the president and secretary to sign that particular documentation.
Now, you're not talking, we started talking 40 West Clay. You're on different, you're not on 40 West Clay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, last month when we talked about that, and Mike was here, we didn't really have a meeting.
Yeah.
So he's talking about the one before that.
Right.
Yeah,
But he started at
what I
40
was
West
reading.
Clay, so I just
Okay.
wanted to clarify that,
Yeah.
that
But this one is for,
Talking
I'm
two
sorry, this one is, and I did read that incorrectly for this particular application. This is the one that David Meyer has put together showing the three lots, which are 166A, 164A, and lot 164B, and lot 164C, okay? These are the three that are being divided up with the infrastructure to be separate for each of those facilities like we have done in previous locations and all. Previously, we've had a situation where our lots were only for a single-family residence and all. This allows this division to be made to allow for not multifamily, but multiple units to be
Yeah.
placed on the same lot, okay?
Gotcha.
And that has been presented as well. So we're needing approval of that particular matter, and again, the signatures on the Mylar.
So the only discrepancy is with what's on the agenda.
I'm sorry?
So the only discrepancy is the date or the.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And this is just a curiosity, but how is that, I'm sorry, how's the HOA, who chooses that? Or is that not any of our?
In that particular matter, what happens is that Mike Sudol had put this together as well. And he had wanted to have his unit, which is one single physical structure, divided horizontally as
Right.
opposed to the way it normally would otherwise be. And this is permissible. We have never had that before in Owen County. It has happened in many other urban areas, obviously, kind of thing. But I think he is, is anyone here to speak on his behalf at all? You want to tell us what his long-term plans are?
I still think you're
No,
confused
I
on
don't
which
know
is
anybody
which.
knows his
There's two
long-term
separate
plan. I know he's gonna
things.
continue building in Spencer as long as he can,
For
just affordable housing, but for the homeowners association, I
Yeah.
believe it's chosen the new owner that purchased the apartments, he's got a spot, and Mike sits on the board, and then the new owner for the downstairs also is on the board.
And
just
that's on
curious.
the main street, that's
And
not
that's
on,
Main Street,
that's
yeah.
not the
Right.
Clay Street.
Right.
And your inquiry is really, how does a homeowners association operate within this circumstance? And again, it's sort of like in a subdivision, if there is a property owners association formed and all, it has the authority to regulate the properties that are associated with it and all. So for example, they set rules about, noise and when things can be done and how deliveries are made, what the common areas, how they're maintained and all. They collect dues from their members, and the monies that are coming in as dues are used to pay for the cost of maintenance of these common areas type thing. They also ensure that all the regulations are enforced by that particular area. One of the things that's always complicated when we take in a subdivision for the town of Spencer, for example, is that the homeowners association has the complete control of what goes on out there. We don't have anything to do except our original plat approval.
And that was my
Everything
question,
else inside that goes on thereafter is all the responsibility of the homeowners association.
Okay.
So, and in this particular case, it's particularly useful for the one on 46, West Street and all. That is useful because, again, you've got multiple tenants living in that particular operation and all. And so, obviously, the town can't control what the traffic is through that location and all, so. But back to our presentation here for the Trillium Lot 164 split and all. Again, we've had the information on this, and this is a similar kind of division of the one lots that we've had previously by Mike Sudol and the building of the various location lots and all. You can't see it on here, but there's actually an inset site for the plat on there, so that'll be part of the whole thing. But we need a motion for
Well-
the approval of the plat.
Just a quick question on that. I don't know how things, the order, but construction's already well underway down there.
Well, we are a little bit behind in getting this thing finally approved, but that doesn't, it was approved previously in our minutes and all. This is the signing of the document itself.
Because I got the letter because I'm the homeowner next door to
Oh,
this.
sure,
Right.
yeah.
And so I came last month and there was not enough people here to have a
So
forum.
sorry about
And I did have some questions regarding this.
Please, go ahead.
Okay, so he wants to put a two-story right up near Main Street, the road right next on the corner. And my house is right there, so that's going to affect my view, plus the other two houses.
I can't conceptualize exactly right now how your house will be,
I face Main Street,
yes.
so my windows face that
Can you,
side.
well, you probably don't know what he's
And
doing.
I'm also worried because he's putting that two-story on that corner. I have an old growth, oak tree right on the corner of my property, inside my property line. I don't want my tree touched.
Again, I could not answer that question for you. So far as I had seen in the site designs that they had, no trees were being affected by the construction and all.
He has nothing but scrub trees on his
Yeah.
side that sprang
But
up along.
your trees would theoretically, at least from the site design that he's showing, not be affected by the building site and all.
Well, I'm afraid that because I have one branch that goes over, that he's gonna wanna try to cut down my tree.
Have
If
you
it's
looked
on-
over the property line? I think he was going back to within 10 feet of the property line from what I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
He described.
I
Have you
know.
gone to the property line and looked up to see what's going on?
I don't know that he's looked at that at all. I
Yeah.
was just worried because of the second story building right there, and it sounded like he wanted to put a
Yeah.
balcony on to face
Do you know who the contractors
Yeah,
are?
I drove by your place after the
Yeah.
meeting
He
last
might,
night.
I
Just-
do
And
not
he's
know
saying
who
that
they
he
are.
wants, he wanted it, so
Do
they
you know
had a
who the
river
contractors
view.
are?
They can't see the river from there. I have, from my bedroom window, you can't see the river, and I'm on the second story, so I know better, you know.
I'm just confused as to when, I did miss last meetings, but nothing happened that meeting. So I'm confused as to when this was approved.
Okay,
We did look at, we looked at it like, in February, maybe, was it the
it
February
was
meeting?
like a January timeframe.
I
around.
have
On
one
that
right
split?
here.
Cause I thought it was just to be presented at the last month.
We were supposed to go over the preliminary plat at the last meeting, which we couldn't have because we didn't have a quorum. So
right.
now we're combining preliminary and final plat, but I have seen
Yeah.
this before and we talked. about it.
January 27th, I believe we approved the preliminary approval. And did we sign
For which
something
one?
like that?
The,
But see, I think
Clay
that's
Street?
the Main Street, I don't think that's the Clay Street. Trillium Woods right now has two
But aren't we
projects
talking about
going.
Main Street right now?
No,
No.
we
No,
switched again.
no,
Okay.
No, we're talking about the 3 houses that he's building on the place.
Because the letters just went to the homeowners March 9th.
Yeah, I got one last month, but there wasn't enough of a
Exactly.
quorum, and then I got one
Which-
dated April 10th. that I
Which
had.
is what concerns me, that construction's already started, and this is very much just hitting the board.
I'm just looking here real quick on some of those things.
South Main one, yes, we did get that one, we did approve that one, I understand that one.
Okay.
The Clay Street, this is our
Are there
first.
pouring foundations on all of them, or one of them, or what?
Is it just one so far?
Yeah.
Just one
Which one?
foundation and block?
The one closest to the alley.
The west?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's the Clay Street one then that the town council also signed off on?
No, it was on the Main Street one,
Okay.
has been approved. The Main Street one has been in the talks for several
Everything.
months now, and everything has been approved on that.
But this is
The
the first
Clay
time for
Street,
this.
this is the first I'm aware of, and it just worries me that construction's already started and
Yeah.
nobody's approved it.
Okay. I see what you're saying now.
I got a feeling that what's probably happened is the anticipation had been that the meeting was gonna be taking place in March, that would have presented this as the preliminary at that point in time and all. And that somehow the construction process got ahead of itself and before the approval of this matter. And that's why he was asking for it to be preliminary and
Expedite it,
final.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
I don't have any other site design information in this packet. I have his application for the approval type thing with the drawings and the, legal description of the dividing of the property and all.
I'm gonna pull up a map and look at where this is, because I'm interested to see.
Yeah. Good catch.
So the address, 40 West Clay Street is the wrong address? or
No.
It
that's
should
right?
be, it's 165 Swain Street,
No, it's 40 West.
or is that the Trillium Woods
That's
address?
probably Trillium Woods.
Okay, so then the
But see,
address.
the homeowners opposing this, or stating a concern, this is their first chance they've got to speak about it, and construction's already started.
It's not ideal. I know construction has timelines to meet too, but of course we want to hear concerns before, approving or
How
not.
far back does your house sit from the property line? It looked like maybe 15 or 12 feet.
Is it on the?
Does that
It is,
sound
it's more
about-
like in the middle of my property right there,
Yeah.
closer to the.
I mean, when I
road,
drove by
but-
after the last meeting,
Yeah.
it looked like,
Clay Street.
I understand your concern about a two-story right there where you've got a vacant lot now.
Yeah,
But your house faced east, this one's gonna face north,
right,
but you're gonna see the back of it. And it's 10 feet from the property line, and it looked like you were probably at least 20 feet from the property line.
Yeah.
Where your house is a one-story facing that
Yes.
way,
I got 2 stories,
two-story, right?
yeah.
But anyway, I thought, well, I understand what you're saying, but I don't
Yeah.
see that anything can be done about it.
Well, I just don't know why the 2-story had to be right there, it could have been from.
Well, I know, and he's
the first
building
one.
3, a
Yeah.
two-story, a one-story, a one-story.
That
and
would have been
you
great.
wish it was reversed,
Yes, that's exactly, would have been fine,
I,
just so it didn't obstruct your view out your side windows.
but I don't have windows, I mean, that's farther back on the property, my property, if it had been a 2-story back there, and it really wouldn't have affected
Yeah.
me too much
I mean,
here.
all over town, you've got one-stories next
Yeah.
to
I know.
two-stories.
It's just, yeah.
And
It's-
it's just the way it goes.
I know, I empathize with you because, you've had this view for so long and now it sounds like the skyline's gonna
And you
change.
didn't buy it very long ago, right?
I've been there, going on, is it 4 years or 5 years, I can't remember.
I remember you said, if I'd known they were gonna build a two-story house right here, I might not have bought that house. But I mean,
Well,
it's been,
yeah.
a lot that somebody was gonna do something.
Yeah.
Well, I figured a single home, just like mine, eventually, or even two would have been, I just don't know where's gonna be a yard, if this is gonna be for kids.
I mean, the tricky thing
A
too is
family
that
home.
in town, we don't have an HOA where we can say, we can determine the characteristics of stuff that's getting built around us. We can't say what the shape of the house will look like or the paint colors they use. All of that is tricky because we might not like what comes up right next to us, but if the zoning is, if it's zoned correctly and everything, 2-story or one, it's more of an aesthetic decision at that point. It's hard.
Just shoving so many homes on, it's like
Yeah.
tenement housing now, might as well
I
live in
understand,
Chicago.
yeah, oh, yeah. It's getting, it's getting denser, but we need
I
more
don't
housing
think we
too.
could do anything to say, no, Mike, you can't build that two-story right there.
Right, there's nothing in the zoning code that says you can't build this, but,
And
I understand your
agree with
position.
all that, I just don't agree with the
Starting out.
process, how this is went.
He probably had the foundations ready to go and said, let's go.
That shouldn't be how things are done in the town.
I'm
It's
also
always-
concerned about the grade, over there, if now it rains, all the flooding's gonna be in my yard, running down from there, unless there's gonna be some sort of,
drainage or something.
something,
I
along the fence line.
can't tell you for certain on that one, but Mr. Sudol has built a lot of these around town. And he's always had,
He's conscious of flooding
he's always
issues.
had engineers,
Yeah.
design them, and engineer company will take all of that in mind.
Yeah.
Um,
Is this in the floodplain now and without
Yes.
looking at it? Okay,
It
yeah,
is.
and he's accustomed to building in the floodplain, so, and he does a good job.
Well, actually, the first floor was gonna be what, like 7 or 8 feet above
Yeah,
ground?
But it's
Yeah.
still,
They had
Which
to
is
meet
fine
the,
for them, but if it's
Sure.
higher
Which
up and
raises
then
it
it
higher for
comes
you.
into my yard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from where we are right now, the situation is one where, I'm not as happy as I would like to be with regard to the timing on this. However, the problem we have is we have all these developers who come to us and they come at the last minute on all these things. And then we have something like a quorum issue to add to the mix and all. This board's decision is advisory, okay? So the approval of this plat, and this final plat today, will go to the town council. And you will have an opportunity to appear before the town council. And in the meantime, we can put you in contact directly with Mr. Sudol, so you can have
gave me his card the last time I was
Okay.
here, and no one was here to have a quorum. so-
Yeah, she
Well,
got to talk
but
to
you
him
could you
extensively
need to
last
talk to
week.
him, I think, directly about your concerns to get answers to the questions. I don't think that that we have anybody on the board that's gonna know, the specifics of what you need to have answers to and all. So I would recommend that you be in contact with him and all. But as far as, there's nothing in what he has drawn or the engineering designs that is against the
Right.
county's regulations and ordinances. They are in conformance. The only thing he is doing is putting more than one unit on a residential, platted lot.
Yeah, I think it's just a hard to swallow pill about like social contract, like we live in a town together and sometimes things are gonna get built next to us that they're not our favorite, but there's no law against it and there's nothing I
Well,
could point
Mike
to in
was
the
here
code
the
that
last
says.
time, and you were here, and your neighbor was here.
Right.
And they got together for like half an hour and talked about it, and he told them what all he was gonna do.
That's good,
I don't know if there's anything more he can say, but really.
yeah. Mike's been
We
a
didn't have a
good,
meeting, but
right,
they said, come on up here and talk about it.
good.
So they did.
I'm glad they were able to use the time that we couldn't. Well, I appreciate you coming to share your concerns. That's helpful, but yeah, I don't know that I could point to anything in the code or say like, we can't do, he can't build this.
Are you suggesting with your concern that he stops right now until something's resolved?
No, I mean, if I had a problem with this design or I have no problem with that. I have a problem with the process, so I guess I would just like to see the order of things get tightened up a little bit
Sure.
before this happens again.
Yeah, going forward.
Right. Because there, in no way should construction start before it's ever approved.
Fair enough, yeah.
We have innumerable problems in the process. Even getting the Mylars is a major concern with the developers anymore. It's a more expensive process than the regular paper printouts and all, but, be that as it may, we could certainly tighten this process up for the future type thing and all. But again, for tonight's purpose and all,
Yeah.
the question on the table is whether or not to approve this preliminary and final plat, and then it will go forward as a recommendation only to the town board.
I think that Mike Sudol has been a great steward of property in town. He builds really high-quality structures, and they look nice. I think they improve, they definitely thicken up the tax base so that we can provide higher-quality public services to support everyone who chooses to live in this community. So with that, I would motion to approve it.
And if there's no legal reason that we
Right.
can't, I would second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll sign.
We will need your signature on this line right there with this special pen.
So,
Don't run off yet, because I'll give you some information about when the board meeting is and how that works when it's decided upon. Will this be at the will this be presented at the next
Town board meeting.
town board meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's next Monday.
first,
I would suggest May 4th is Monday coming up, okay? That's the town board meeting, and you may want to be there for a presentation of your concerns at that time, okay?
You might try to, I'm sorry,
I was
I
just.
was gonna say, what, your tree that you're concerned about and stuff, you might try to get some photographs that you can show a little better than what we're trying to understand you saying.
Or just ask,
And measurements.
is he down there some, or is he?
No, I don't think he'll be in May at all, I don't think.
Oh, that's right. You went somewhere.
how tall is the tree?
Very-
It's
Like a full-grown tree?
It's full grown, it's been there for probably decades.
If it's full-grown and it's in your property, I think, if it has no trouble accessing sunlight to photosynthesize and do all that, I think it's gonna be okay with a two-story building, but of course,
Well,
would wanna
because
guarantee
it
of that.
branches out, I know the branches go over, so.
you think he might wanna trim it, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, but it's like a huge,
Yeah,
and I don't wanna harm the tree.
right. And maybe that could be a conversation with Mike, like if he's gonna want to trim that, then you could talk about maybe him furnishing that expense and then doing it to your, parameters or whatever that you would be comfortable with, so that the tree's okay.
I'm just, concerned about it dying.
Yeah,
because We just
sure.
had one,
Yeah.
we lost one that was on the easement,
And we need more
Right
trees
there.
in this town. I don't wanna lose a good tree either, so.
you know.
I'm sure that he will be amenable to talk about that.
Could you take down her name and phone number for us for the
Yeah.
record?
Yeah, actually, let me have you, I'll just have you write it right on here.
Just anywhere.
Yeah, just any, name, phone number, and we'll.
Are you Mrs. Arwood? Okay.
Thank you for coming and thank you for voicing your concern. I appreciate it. We should have so many active citizens, that'd be great. Okay, old business, is it okay to go to that one? Okay, old business, the ADU ordinance, we have it here, it's kind of the thicker packet at the back.
We had made some adjustments and edits in accordance with the various discussions we've made. I would invite you to look that over one more time.
Okay.
We're gonna take this next to the town board, and I believe also on May 4th, we will be introducing at that point in time for their first discussions and all.
Okay.
Okay.
I have some notes, maybe extensive notes on, the large, section in red. There are 11 points there, like sub-points that I'd like to go over, so, if everyone wants to take a look at that. Okay, let's see, I'm okay with the first sub-point, so an ADU may be created through new construction, conversion, addition, blah, 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 as long as it adheres to all zoning requirements. Okay, the second point, lot size must be at least 7,000 square feet in order to construct a detached ADU. I would actually like to not have a minimum lot size. I think that if somebody believes that they have enough room to build one of these and it conforms, like, these are small structures. And I understand that, I think Richard made a note, like, something like 85% of the lots in our town already meet that. So it's not like it's gonna thwart a ton of development that might have happened, but I just wanna remove as much red tape as possible, because I don't think it's,
One
I-
other way to look at this would be, even though you have this restriction, okay, they can apply for a variance, okay?
but I think my whole goal
I
in
know you
raising an
wanna
ADU is
expedite
to
everything.
not have to get a variance to build one of these.
Most of the ones that we have seen with ADU requirements do have a minimum requirement, okay?
A minimum lot
Yeah.
size.
And partly this is because you have to have space to put this in. It is not a free-for-all. There could be some designs that would be rejected because of just the physical layout that you would be having. But you're free to make that recommendation now, and we'll certainly bring it up to the town board.
Okay.
Yeah,
That would be my request, only because
okay.
I'll restate, yeah, my goal is to remove as much red tape as possible. I don't want a homeowner to have to get a variance for every
Okay.
little thing.
Is there
and
fire codes or anything that would affect how close?
They would have to, they would have to adhere to fire codes, get a building permit, all of the normal stuff. So if it didn't work with the fire code, then they couldn't do it, but it wouldn't be, the town ordinance that thwarted them, it would be.
The lots are primarily, what, 60 by 120?
60 by 120, yeah. Most of them are. That's what I think that's
Yeah,
what we.
60 by 120 is a typical,
So what's 60 by 120?
7,200.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was just right over.
My math is still correct.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be mostly a non-issue, but in the case that we have a smaller lot or an odd-shaped parcel or something, but a person's still, they're gonna use their best judgment, and if they're gonna, design an ADU or something like that, and it is a detached one, they're not gonna build something they don't have room for. I just don't see that.
Well,
working.
you don't know.
Yeah.
And that brings up concerns like sheep
Hypothetically, consider the idea that you've got a lot that formed when the original plat was put together. And so they made a lot out of something that was an extension of another regular sized lot. It was just a add-on because they had the land available, and it was 50 by 50, okay? I don't think you'd want to authorize building on that, even though it is, you know, that's the reason for the square footage requirement.
But what's the advantage, like from our standpoint as like representatives of a local government? What's the advantage to having like unused land in town where something could be built on it? You know? I
But
mean,
you don't want everything stuck together in a little lot, you know? I could see, as a
But you don't want a lot of
homeowner,
empty spaces either, because that, I mean, that,
Well, you kind of
Got
do.
your-
In a small town, you know, you don't want, and the thing is, the homeowner may say, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and cramp this up, but I'm not keeping it forever, whereas the stuff is permanent. It's gonna be there through several owners of that property, and then you have adjacent homeowners that might be,
Again, it's a point of discussion, we certainly can bring it up, kind of thing. And there are just some hypotheticals I can think of that would make this really awkward to live with and all. It doesn't achieve the goal you want to have, really, of providing housing. It just creates a problem in the bureaucracy of authorizing something that can be a problem, okay?
Sure.
It's two-way street.
I hear the feedback. So that'd be my request, to eliminate the minimum lot size, but of course, if the town board says,
Okay.
let's keep it, then that's okay. I just thought
I mean, there's nice things about having a lot size with gardens and trees and
Oh, yeah.
flowers.
And some people will
That's
keep
what's
that.
nice about a small town,
Yeah,
not having just dwelling everywhere
sure.
that can fit.
And I don't think anyone's gonna come bursting through the gates as soon as we get this on the books. 500 people are gonna say, I wanna build one of these things. It costs $100,000, so,
But we're gonna be living with this stuff
yeah,
and what gets built for a long time.
that's true. So we wanna be thoughtful about it. Okay, well, that'd be my request, but,
Okay.
okay, the third point, only one ADU per lot. I would request, limit 2 ADUs per lot, as long as they don't exceed 40% of the whatever, square footage of the primary dwelling. If the combined square footage of 2 ADUs is less than 40%, then I would be okay with that.
So they're like two tiny houses.
Well, it could be a very big
In-
primary home.
Yeah, in
so,
somebody's
you know,
backyard.
in theory. Yeah. Or we could say like one detached, one attached, if you wanna slice it that way, so that you don't have two separate structures. But that way, if somebody has like a garage that they wanna convert into an ADU, then they could also build a separate structure ADU. Would people be more comfortable with that?
So the garage could be an ADU and then build another ADU?
Limit one detached, but 2 total if there is one attached. I think Hunter has it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's homes in Spencer that are 5,000 square foot easy.
Yeah,
So if you had 2 ADUs on those properties, you're talking about 1,000 square foot homes that would be on the same property.
if they have the yard space for it, which
Yeah.
most don't, only a couple
But you
would.
get up on the north side of Hillside,
Sure,
there's some large homes with a lot of property.
right. Put one in the front yard.
Yeah,
Some of those
exactly.
would have to put it in the front yard. Okay, I would say, that would be my request for number 3, is one attached, one detached limit, not just one per parcel. It's gonna be a rare case that would happen, but again, removing red tape. I'm good with number 4. I want the, exterior finished materials to match so that things look nice. If someone's gonna build one of these, I don't want it to look ugly. Number 5, the property owner must permanently reside in either the principal unit or the accessory unit. I would strike that as well. I don't love an owner occupancy requirement. I just don't, I mean, I think we wanna have, obviously, maybe we could talk about another point in the code that where we're requiring maintenance, like, can there be a penalty on homeowners for not maintaining their properties? But to say that the homeowner needs to live on site, I think is a unnecessary red tape if we're trying to support
I
housing.
think that's to keep a landlord from cramming as many people
Well, there's
that-
still
that might
fire
not even
code,
be
there's still
here. He
fire
might
code
be-
again, like,
He might live in Indianapolis, he don't care about what's down here, he just wants that check every month.
it seems like
I'm-
the
I'm-
concern is about slumlords, and I get that.
I'm for that one.
We don't want slumlord situations, but is there
What if
another way to
we
achieve
have
that?
a requirement that the property owner must consent
Property owner must consent to what?
an ADU unit?
Oh, yeah,
Okay. We've got a unusual phenomena going on in the town of Spencer, and that is we've got perhaps 65% renters, okay, occupying the premises, and then probably another 5 or 10% who are not the owners of the property, but who are occupying the property because they are relatives, friends, associates, family of the owner, okay? So you've got a lot of people who are not owners of the property. And there have been some towns recently that have passed ordinances that have seek to ban further rental on the properties in the town because the lack of home ownership has led to a degradation
Sure.
in the maintenance. And I'm just reciting what's happening as opposed to commenting politically about it at all, but
in the interest, that's a really good point. So in the interest of like supporting home ownership and not just renters, something I was thinking that I would wanna pitch to this group to discuss is, should we add on another like sub point that units, ADUs created under this ordinance could be sold as condominiums? So that they actually could be owned and not just rented. That would, like, there's the buy-in and there's the maintenance right there.
the word condominium has many legal connotations to it too, though. I'm not sure we help ourselves by defining the ability to make it into you don't want to make it an independent structure so that it could stand alone in the future.
I guess somebody could still come to this group to request that their parcel be subdivided and then they could sell that, right?
Some of the infrastructure questions would be significant then, because you're relying to a certain degree on the independence of the infrastructure subsets that are furnishing those services to the principal unit as well as the ADU. So, that's an interesting question because it also has a tax implication too.
Right. Yeah.
Let's talk about it, yeah, okay.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment on the possibility of making them so that they could be sold as condos? Table that for now.
Well, my first thought was then you've got to start subdividing the property itself and all of the requirements and regulations that are applicable to dividing up
Right.
relatively small
Does a
lots to
parcel-
start with.
I thought this whole thing started from, a mother-in-law suite
Yeah,
on your.
definitely, that's
and
the
now
primary audience, yeah.
If we start doing all this stuff you're saying, it's just a business opportunity for
The
somebody to
idea
make
is
money
to
by
increase
cramming
people's earning
people-
power too. It's
by
like if you
cramming
have
people
this land.
together.
By the time you start combining property owners that don't reside and being able to subdivide it and then sell off and build, you're getting into a very different cart of apples
Okay,
than what started out as
sure.
creating more residential.
So we're not a fan of the condos is what I'm getting. with this case.
Sounds like a whole lot more legality to look into.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna change substantially the neighborhood
sure.
design of a small town.
If a ton of people were like, let's all build ADUs and subdivide our properties and sell them. I don't see that,
But it could happen. You could have
In
this
theory.
one house here and every property owner around them build 2 ADUs in the backyard and now you have
a very dense neighborhood.
exactly
And the property owner lives in Indianapolis.
to this
Fortunately, Mike
person that,
has built nice properties and he hadn't gotten into all this kind of stuff of how can I maximize my money out of this,
Sure.
chopping stuff up and all. But that doesn't mean the next person won't.
Sure, yeah. Did you have a,
Yeah, with your condo idea, wouldn't you almost have to, or about everybody would start creating homeowners association? So they could sell
Possibly, yeah. It's a whole can of worms. I've never
Yeah.
done that before, so I don't know what, I just thought I'd pitch it, cause I was looking at other ordinances, other ADU ordinances, and some of them had this stipulation that, that they could be sold as condos, so I thought we'll raise it.
I mean, I was in favor initially if the property owner wants to put up,
Okay,
like your friend that lives above the garage
mhm,
down
Yeah.
and all. But when you start saying they don't have to
okay,
be there anymore and they can sell it off,
sure,
that gets to be a very different look
okay.
to the neighborhood.
I'm hearing
Possibly
the feedback. Sounds like we wanna keep the owner occupancy requirement, and we don't wanna go with the condos thing.
As long as I'm sitting here, I would say yes.
Okay.
When I'm gone and somebody else is sitting here, they may decide.
No, I appreciate that. That's what the conversation is for, so I'm good with that, if other people feel the same way. We're good? Okay.
It's worth bringing up, though.
It's worth bringing
I
up.
mean,
I might have one or two others here. Let me go through. them.
I agree with you. Like I said, I think that
Jenny?
it's,
I mean, okay.
I'm here to cooperate, so all I can do is ask. Okay, maximum size, number 6, maximum size 800 square feet. Another example I saw of an ordinance said maximum size 1,200 square feet or 40% of the primary dwelling, whichever is greater. So if we say we have a maximum square footage of 800 square feet, then we do have like 800 square feet is not a tiny home, actually. My home is like 860 square feet, and it's not a tiny home. 800 square feet is a good size starter home or rental unit, but do we want to increase that if someone has room to build something a little bigger? We don't have a minimum, which I'm also fine with, but 800 is just an interesting number to stop at for an ADU.
Just put it before the town board. That's
Okay.
just another
Okay,
issue.
then I would say for number 6, then maximum square footage, 1,200 square feet or 40% of the primary dwelling, whichever is greater. We'll see what they say. Okay, I asked a couple of real estate developers in town about the sidewalk requirement, and one of them, or about all of these, but one of them mentioned the sidewalk requirement, and he said, would it make sense not to have the sidewalk, that the sidewalk has to connect to the street, but that it could connect to the driveway or something? The driveway of the primary dwelling, would that work?
I think that one would be, dependent on the actual situation and the layout. So I would agree what does it say exactly that it must?
There must be a sidewalk from the street to the primary entrance of a detached accessory
You
unit.
recall this was arising because of the problems we have had with the tree plots and people's parking on curbs and eroding the curb line and sidewalks sometimes with their, this was to ensure that they had access to the accessory that would not be, that would be the best way for them to get to it without having to use what the principal occupants were using.
Gotcha.
That's
I'm fine
the
with
logic of it.
I'm fine with
Which I
that.
agree with that,
Yeah.
but in certain situations, it might be that it's better to run that sidewalk from that out to Clay
And
Street instead of
that
Main
can be
Street.
brought
So-
in on the
Yeah.
application
Yeah.
process, yeah.
Okay, I thought I'd raise that, but I'm fine with leaving what we have there.
Could it say to a entrance, to
Oh,
a primary entrance of the unit?
to the primary, I see what you're saying. So, do you take issue with how that's written there, number 7?
I don't know.
There must be a sidewalk from the street to the primary entrance of a detached accessory unit. I'm okay with keeping that one, I just thought I'd raise that. Let's see. Okay, then I'm good with 8, 9, 10. Number 11, ADUs may not be used as transient guest houses. This would be like an Airbnb, like a short-term stay,
Yes.
less than 1 month. I'm fine with these being used as Airbnbs. In fact, they get better maintained if they are short-term. I know that we're also interested in creating housing stock, so Airbnb doesn't accomplish that. It does give the homeowner some more earning power. Spencer is tourism-based a little bit. We have the state park and all of that, festivals and things. Airbnbs, it's in the homeowner's interest to make them nice, so I think that I'm fine with that.
I was gonna add, plus you have IU games, which are gonna be
Right.
huge now.
Yeah, people come here to stay for games and things. Mhm.
30-minute drive to Wilmington is not that big of a deal for
Yeah.
most fans.
So I would strike 11.
I think that one of the reasons this was in was because other jurisdictions were concerned that these units were not occupied by someone renting or contractually obligated to the property. I think that they were gonna be like homeless shelters or something like that. That it maybe instead of working about what it may not be used, maybe we should say it may be used for
Sure,
Airbnb
yeah,
or something like that.
I just don't
Yeah.
like the idea of it becoming a business, what I originally thought was intended.
It
To
will be,
accommodate-
it will be an issue for the town board too, I
Right.
think, and all.
At this point though, like, for me, it's just, I feel like it's not our business as the town to be like, who can stay in your, like, if you have an extra room, you can list it on Airbnb and someone can come in your front door and stay in a room in the back of your house. So if they have a separate structure that they wanna rent the same way, I feel like it's really not our business if somebody wants to do that. That's why I would strike that one.
If you,
And also my in-laws stay in
if you
somebody's
can share
ADU.
those thoughts again, just give me a copy of your notes and
Okay.
I'll write them up for the town board as well.
Okay, will do. That concludes my very long-winded notes. Sorry, guys. I appreciate all the feedback. Does anybody else have anything they want to add about the ADU ordinance before we wrap it up?
I do agree that the ADU ordinance is valuable for the town of Spencer. We've got a number of properties where an additional add-on to their properties could meet the exact mission and goal you've mentioned and all. We are really running out of space to put any kind of housing in the town of Spencer at this point in time. And I have no idea where we're gonna go when we talk about the suburbs of Owen County to try to figure out where we put everything and all.
The thing that I want this group to think about is that sprawl has a big cost, and if we annex more property, we spread out and we build subdivisions, you're taking on incredible infrastructure costs. Roads cost a crazy amount. Richard, you've seen the numbers. Roads, sewer infrastructure, all the utilities, everything is tremendous. So the better that you can maximize your productivity on the existing land that's already served by police, it's already served by fire, there are already schools, classrooms for those kids. The better you can use your existing infrastructure, the more financially healthy your town will be. But if infrastructure is liability.
But we also have a commitment, I think, to the existing homeowners to keep things in check and to not.
We have to give credit to the people who keep wanting the town of Spencer to be a village, okay? It takes a lot to maintain a village. But I don't see 100 years from now, the town of Spencer being under one roof, okay? I don't see that either, okay? So, there's value in space that you have around your property and the
Sure.
ability to use it for
Yeah.
just its ordinary environment. So we have to protect that to a degree as well. So this is we can't get carried away here because, as we pointed out, this is not going to be used as a monumental change in the way we do business and all. This is going to be 5 or 10 properties that might initially take an action on that matter, but
I'd
not
be pleased if we got 2 applications for an ADU.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
probably
a lot,
true. Probably true.
But we also have to not allow that to be,
Extended, yeah.
a slumlord type situation in
Sure.
the future.
I think if we keep the owner occupancy requirement on the books, we won't have a slumlord, because nobody's gonna want their renter to be yucky.
All right.
Okay, thank you everybody so much. Any public comment, any other things people wanna add? Comments from this group? Okay, motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Thank you, everybody. Do I need to sign anything else, Richard, before I?
You signed in here?
Yes.
So, fine.
Okay, and you need my folder back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And we have the
Yeah.
keys yet.
All right, and you're on the BZA.
Okay, I will-
we'll call the Town of Spencer Board of Zoning Appeals April 28th meeting to order. And we're signing in for attendance. We just have this. We currently have 4 members on this.
Yep, we got them all.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a minutes from our last meeting on March 24th. If there's any questions or not, we have a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
Do you have a folder?
Is there a folder for Leah?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yours should be, is it not in your other folder or?
For Leah.
For Leah, I don't have mine.
Here, Leah,
There we go.
there you go. Too many folders.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do this right now, because I know you like it.
Yeah, I do that too.
Okay, so we got the
Here it is.
minutes of the last meeting. Everybody had a chance to look at those?
There wasn't much there. Not much happened.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
A second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Let me circulate this for signature then.
And then we have invoice from Hickam and Lorenz for.
Have one invoice pending for $13,466. That's the invoice number, and it's available for your review.
If there's any questions or concerns, otherwise have a motion to approve that claim
Make
as
a motion.
presented. A motion, do we have a second?
Sure,
We have a second?
sure.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any new business?
We really don't have any new business at all. This board, as the variance board, the Board of Zoning Appeals, will not have as much business, obviously, as any other agencies and all, and we'll try to keep the agendas down because of that type thing and all. We will probably have some as we develop some of the areas that are on the outskirts of the town perimeter, because when we interface with the county, the zoning ordinances are different, and setbacks and things like that do come into play. So we'll probably have some matters that come before us in those particular areas. And there are things on the table right now that they're talking about that are in that area. In fact, the most important area for growth right now for the county is the peripheral areas that adjoin the town. And once again, this wastewater treatment that we have from the town is the only game in town with regard to how you get the density you're looking for these housing additions and the like. So that will be the progress that we make.
Old business?
That's it.
BZA comments? And if not, I have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion, second, all in favor,
Easiest
say
name
aye.
guy ever goes.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming and all. Hopefully you're not having any more storms tonight.
Yeah.
It is supposed to storm again tonight.
Is it?
That was a dandy last night.
Yeah, and then I finally get back to sleep, and then that big clap of thunder, I'm like, are you kidding me? We were getting tornado, my kids checked on me, said, are you doing okay? And I go, yeah. And they said, it's, you know, it's raining hard and stormy, but I said, I think it's okay. And because they were on, it was going right over Stones Crossing at the time. And they're like, we got the kids up because their sirens are going off. And I said, oh, there goes my siren.
Yeah.
My wife has a proclivity to want to leave the television on when she is supposedly sleeping. And unfortunately, when the storms come and knock it out, the TV goes out, so she can't sleep. I don't understand.
Yeah, so I better cut that off.
I was like, is it running?
Can you lock us up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's why I'm here. It's not number one reason.